Shalom. So there was a visitor who told Israel Zalman Meltzer, Shalom, who was one of the great sages we had, father-in-law of Rabbi Aaron Kotler, that he had to go to Bnei Brak. So the visitor told the rabbi, I'm going to Bnei Brak. And he says, it's going to be a very long drive, 3-4 hour drive. And the rabbi said, you're such a zechut you have. You're going to be able to see the Chazon Ish, Shalom. What a privilege to see the Chazon Ish. And then you should be happy from this for the rest of your life. He says, why? He says, in the world of the Emet, it'll be very hard to get near the Chazon Ish. But our sages taught that simple people will sit there with the forefathers and even speak with them. As it says in Mishlei and the Midrash, Agadah Bereshit, it says, in times will come, everyone will say, how is it so-and-so who never studied Torah in his life is sitting with the Avot and speaking with them? Hashem will tell them, what are you surprised about? They listen to me during their life. It says the ear that hears life-giving rebuke will reside amongst the wise. So if you want to sit in the highest parts of Gan Eden, if you listen to rebuke, and when people give you musar, and people tell you need to work on this, you need to work on that, and you listen, that's a big zechut that you'll be able to sit with the Avot. So now you go to Olam Haba, everybody will say, this plumber, he sits with Avraham Avinu and he talks to the Chazon Ish over there in Olam Haba. How could it be? He barely knows Hebrew. It's because he was sitting and he would listen to people give him rebuke and he would take it. And he would say, you're right. I need to work on myself. You're right. Now listen, there's some people when you tell them, you don't talk properly. You don't behave properly. You need to stop doing this on Shabbat. You need to stop breaking this halakha, that halakha. And you perfect also? What? You any better than me? Oh, come on! I saw you also. Don't start with me. Don't open my mouth, right? And they start battling you to see who's more of a sinner. God forbid. And what? He never wants to grow like this. He never wants to improve himself. Why? He doesn't know how to take rebuke. Hashem will say to these people who took rebuke, to the simple people who listened and said, you're right, I need to change myself. Hashem says, I love them. They didn't know how to read and write. They don't know how to learn so well. But you know what? They were the people who heard the truth and acted upon it. They did na'aseh v'nishma. So therefore, a person has to try to work on himself. How many times, in the synagogue this happens? The rabbi tells a student, listen, you're bringing into your house, you watch Netflix, stop watching that. It's not good for you. He tells him, listen, you gotta get off your phone and the shul, you're playing on your phone too much. You gotta come to the learning in the evening, yeah. Rabbi Yaznayu, Rabbi Tepra, Rabbi, you're right, Rabbi, I know, one day, slowly, step by step, yeah, Rabbi, I know, okay, we'll get there one day, it's very hard for me, da. And they give you all these excuses in order they shouldn't feel guilty. He doesn't want to do it. He just doesn't want to feel guilty. So he tells you, it's difficult for me, it's hard for me, one day, not now, it's not the right time, excuses. But a person says, you know what, Rabbi? You're right. You're so right, Rabbi. That's it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna change right now because of what you said. That's zechut. Because of that, you sit with the Avot HaKedoshim in Olam Haba. He says a story where there was a couple who came to visit him, and they didn't even have a mezuzah on their door. They didn't even keep Taharat Mishpacha, nothing. They were very far from Hashem. And he started giving them musar. And this couple was different than any other couple because they were really listening. They were really listening. He went for hours with them. They left very not religious people. They came very not religious people, and they left very religious, completely observant. The next day he bought tefillin. The next day he bought mezuzot. He started studying books. In a few months he became like a regular congregant. And what's the difference? How come the rabbi spoke hours and hours of other people that didn't change like this? The difference between is those want to hear and those don't want to hear. Their difference is gava. The difference is humility. They're humble and they listen. They're not humble and they don't. I want to be religious the way I want to be religious. You want to be religious the way Hashem says, and you want to go and be honest with yourself and be humble and do what you're supposed to do, or you want to do my way. I want to do, the person doesn't want to do it all the way. He wants to do it his version. There's like a different version, different tracks. There's a joke they say. There's Coke and there's Diet Coke. There's Chassid and Chassid Light. There's dati light. It's like you could pick and choose Chas Shalom. To take out this, add this, and hapshlap it. A person has to know that if it's not authentic and it's not what Hashem gave us in Sinai, so then what are you doing? What are you doing? Who are you fooling? As Eliyahu Navi complained to the people all the time. He said, Ad matai, until when will you go ashtei seifim? Well, you're going to go on two sides. And in this hour you're religious, and then later you go to work, you're not religious, and then you come home, you come to shul, you put the kippah, you go home, you take off the kippah, and you go and you talk dirty with your friends, you laugh, make these jokes, and then you go to shul and you're learning Gemara. What is this? Okay, if the person, it happens that he falls in a test, that's something else. I'm talking about a guy who says, this is normal, this is okay, I do it knowingly, and I do it willingly, that I'm hopping around, not deciding who I am. I'm on the fence. When a person gets off the fence and says, I have to listen to rebuke and I have to do what I'm supposed to do, that's when it's called Teshuva, and Mashiach will come. As it says, in the end of days, when all you are in distress, all these things have befallen you in the end of days, Hashivot Hashem, you will turn to your God, and you will Shemata Bekolo, you will hear His voice, will listen to His voice. So you see that the main thing of Teshuvah is listening. People don't like to listen. They want to do with their own program, their own idea. And a person has to know, imagine your kids, you tell your kids, what is this? Enough leaving your shoes by the door. Put it away. Enough waking up late. Get up on time. And they say, oh, leave me alone. Oh, come on. Oh, it's hard for me. Oh, my shoes, I like it there. Oh, stop pushing me. Stop telling me what to do. Oh, this is what you tell your father? Uh-huh. So imagine we do that to Hashem. We're children to Hashem. I always speak like that to Hashem. So therefore, a person says, no, we have to learn to listen. We have to learn. You don't like to criticize you. But you have to realize people who criticize you, they love you. If they didn't love you, that's why they wouldn't criticize you. Because they love you, that's why they criticize. They want you to be better. The person's really coming from a good place. Now listen, when you give criticism, you have to know how to say it also. You can't just blast the guy to smithereens. Yeah, like we said yesterday. You got to make a sandwich. You got to put compliment, criticism, and compliment, and give a soft cushioning airbag for the criticism to land. If a person just shoots arrows, the guy could kill a guy like that. So therefore, a person has to be very careful. There was one guy who said to me, Rabbi, where's the food? Why is there no sushi in the shiur? No sushi, no slushit. No sushi, I don't listen. Chas Shalom, a person should not make conditions. Only when I have money, only when it's comfortable, I do the mitzvah. Only when it fits my time or my schedule, I do the mitzvah. No. You have to do Na'aseh Nishma. Hashem gave us the Torah in the desert. In the desert there was nothing. Hashem says, even with nothing, don't make conditions to fulfill the mitzvot. Even in the desert I gave you the Torah, which means you can fulfill the mitzvot without any strings attached. B'ezrat Hashem. Baruch Na'u.